Okay, I got it fixed, and lucky for me I made that notch exactly right. I tapped that down that far, 5/16. Remember, the top line was where we were. I said we were going to have to probably go 5/16, so I made it 5/16. Came up to the line, so that's where my 2x6 is going to go, my ledger, and then 3/4 inch plywood goes up to there, and then I have 2 3/8 plus an eighth, 2.5 inches from there up to there, because that's the low point. So that means I've got plenty of room here. And this is now, this ledger, because I lowered it, is now sloping a little bit this way, not a whole lot. And so my idea, which is okay, so when the water hits over there, it's going to go away from that column. I raised that side up a little bit, like I said I was going to. See, I took that screw out easy enough, tapped it up, tap, tap, tap. Put the screw back in, you know, pre-drilled it, put a new screw in a different hole. So that's up higher. That's sloping down this way. This is sloping a little bit away from that column. This, I've got this now sloping away from the stair, coming back down this way. And then it goes down to there, still sloping down because I lowered that. And then later, after I get the floor on, I'll probably, just on this side of the column, I'll take some sort, I don't know, fix-all or this other stuff I got, and I'll show you that later. And I'll just kind of taper this down in there, because now I'm going to have to do that anyways, because this floor is now going to be higher, and so that'll give me enough room to kind of float that in. You'll see. I'll talk about that later. And so when it comes over here, it was almost at the same mark. If anything, it only went down less than a 16th. So then I leveled that straight across, and then I raised it up about 5/16, because I raised this side up 5/16 from level. I raised this side up, and so now when the water's here, it's going to come away from the step, because I don't want the water puddling here and going down, or going down this way and then going out the weep holes and going down on the stairs and messing up all the stairs. Anything, this water now will hit here, and it's going to flow here, and then it's going to come downhill, and then it's going to go right here, and this is going to be cut kind of high, and so the water is going to come down this way, and it's going to swale off of this, and then it's going to go out. That water is going to come out this way, and it's going to go out. Okay, so I've got myself a game plan here. Okay, and so I know this is still sloping. It's sloping like 5/8 of an inch or so from here on down this way, which is fine. And I think I measured from here up to there 7 1/8, and then from here up to the top one, and that's like 7 3/4 or something. And I put this in level, so I know, you know, at the step, obviously the floor is going to be still coming down at an angle, and so that's all fine. And so what's my next step? Well, the next step is to put this riser in. This riser, this last riser to this stair, right? And it's a slash riser slash ledger board, okay, for the floor. And so I can cut it at an angle, and I'm going to have to put this piece up here again, because this angle is now steeper than over there, so I can't use this same angle. I'm going to have to change it. So I thought I was done with this last board, where I'm going to put that board back up in here and just hold it up there, so I get my angle for this one, my angle for that, and then I can transfer that to this ledger board for the angle, okay? Because it's not square, I can do that just like I did before, just like I did for that one, just like I did for the number 1 and the number 2. High point, low point. High, and that's the top of that is a low point. The bottom is goes at an angle. So at the top it's high. So I can just call that the tip, the high point to the low point, whatever. Okay. So then I can do that, and to attach that, I'm just going to pre-drill. I'm going to make it tight, make it snug, and I put it in at the stucco side first, so I can have it against here. Tap, 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 tap in there. Raise it, lower it. I made my new line. I'm going to line up to that line, and I made my new line up here. Not the bottom one, but the top one. So I'll raise that up, however high. And then I'll pre-drill a hole, and boom, I attach the 2x6 here. Then I can decide what to do next. All right, man, that took a while, but I'm glad I spent the effort and not just say, it's just fine, I'll just do whatever I think, and then find out later that my tile wasn't going to fit underneath that ledge because the ledge is not level. This one's not level either, but this point is level from that way, and then from there over to there it goes uphill at an angle. So I know I got plenty of room there. Now I know exactly why it leaked so bad before, how to fix all that, and where to put all my stuff. So I'm good to go. You know, I thought I was going to rush through this and get all of this flooring done today, but I'm glad. That was probably the most important hour and a half or so, however long it took me to figure out these angles here and to raise that and to figure this all out, and all my steps, my thought process. That's the most important part of this entire flooring project. Okay, had I not walked through it and figured all that stuff out, I'd be in a world of hurt. Especially, you know, I would have sealed the floor up as best I could, but the water still could have would have obviously come out of the weep holes. I'm going to still make the weep holes and drill holes bigger and make the holes bigger here and lower these holes along the flashing there and do all that kind of stuff. But I still probably would have had issues later on down the road, having too much water going down the stairs. I mean, I'm still going to seal the stairs. Could the water, boom, 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 go down the stairs? Yeah, it could. But eventually, it's going to find its way in down to here, creating some more mold, creating some more mushrooms, creating some more dry rot issues and all that. If I'm not up to checking it all out, recalking, repainting every year, instead of every 3 or 4 years, whatever. And I'd still have some water issue areas, okay? But I feel way more comfortable now adjusting my lines, adjusting my ledger boards, and doing all that. I'm still going to tie the floor in properly when I get up there to do the membrane and all that. I'll show you that later. But the main thing right now is, now that I've got everything figured out, I can finish this up. But you know what? I'm gonna probably put that one board up there, and I'm gonna call it a day. I'm glad I've got at least this far. Okay, so that's all I have for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. You got to watch the rest of this series. I'm telling you, I'm hoping anyways that you're learning a lot of stuff from Joe. Here's one last thing. Okay, I got to measure from the stucco on down to there. Remember? And it's really hard to do that when you're running your tape measure. Let's see if I can't show you this. When you're running your tape measure into a corner, you know, it's hard to see exactly what that measurement is. So that's why I say, when you look on your tape measure, and on this one it said plus 3.5, and I saw it right in here. And some of them are plus 3. I've seen some of them smaller than that, depending how big your tape measure is. This one happens to be a 30-footer. You can get 10, 12, 16, 20, 25 foot, 30. I think I've even seen some longer than 30 feet. But in any case, this was 3.5 inches. So I'm doing a measurement up there, and it was 42.25. If I pushed it right in the corner and I hit the wall at 42.25 to where I could see that, and then right at that point I can add 3.5 inches because I know the tape is right in the corner. So that was 42. If I look at 42 and add 3.5, 42, 43, 44, 45.5 plus a quarter is 45.75. And I know that is what the measurement is, 45.75, and that will fit between the stucco and the wood. 45.75. I even wrote it down there. 45.75. Okay, so that's how you get inside measurements sometimes, and you can guess too when you put your tape measure in the corner. And you'll get good at starting to read measurements that way too. But there's your tip for the day. 45.75, and of course I can't just make those square. I've got to put my 2x6 up here again, and so it's going to be the tip from the long side, because that's the high side, to the top of it here is the short side. So from long to short, it's going to be 45.75. Okay? And I'm going to use my little helper square right here, like I showed you before. Last but not least, before I cut that, I'm cutting it out of my long boards. My 2x6 is 10 foot long, and I'm going to crown it and figure out what size the crown, and then I'll make sure even there I have the crown facing up, and it's not going to be very much. It might even be pretty straight, but I'm still going to check that too. So always check that, and what I do is I lift the board up like this, and then I look down it. I'm trying to do this with one hand. I look right down it like that, and see, that's probably the wrong side. So I'll flip it over, and let's see if we can't look at that. It's kind of hard to see on the camera. I'm going to have to look at that, but you eyeball that straight down, and most boards will have a very slight crown one way or another, and if it's pretty straight, and some boards can be really straight too, but you look at that and then you'll see it, and on some boards they're worse than others. And at the lumber yard, lots of time you'll see people lifting them up and looking down them, and that's what they're doing. You don't want something that has a big crown, or you don't want something that has a big big bow in it or anything. And so that's what I'll do before I actually make the cut. Okay, class is now over.